All right, let's get right into it. Look, your expertise is in skincare, not search engines. I get it. But what happens when the very patients who need your skills can't even find you online? Well, over the next few minutes, we're going to break down exactly how to fix that with a super clear, actionable guide to making your practice impossible to miss. So here's the question that probably keeps you up at night. You could be the absolute best dermatologist in your city, but if a potential patient types acne treatment near me into their phone and you don't pop up, you might as well be invisible. And this isn't just about marketing, it's about connecting with people who are actively looking for your help right now. And let's be real, the competition out there is fierce. Just to give you some perspective, a single major city like Melbourne has over 200 dermatologists. That's 200 other clinics all vying for the attention of the exact same local patients. So without a really smart strategy, it's just so easy to get lost in all that noise. The real question is, how do you stand out? Well, we've got a game plan for you. First, we'll tackle that invisibility problem head-on. Then we'll introduce the solution, which is local SEO. After that, I'll walk you through a simple 5-step action plan. We'll also cover some common mistakes you'll want to avoid, and then we'll wrap up by figuring out your next move. Sound good? Let's go. Okay, so the solution we're talking about is called local SEO. Now, don't let the technical names scare you off. All it really is a tool that makes you visible to patients in your specific neighborhood right at the exact moment they need a dermatologist. Think of it this way. It's about being the answer that pops up when they ask their phone for help. And this is so important because it reveals what the patient is really thinking. See, these aren't people who are just casually browsing online. Someone typing "skin cancer check Melbourne" into Google has a very specific and often urgent need. And that's why local SEO is so powerful. It connects you with these people who are ready to pick up the phone and book. And hey, this isn't just some abstract theory. I mean, look at this number. We saw a dermatology clinic in Sydney implement this kind of focused local strategy, and they saw a 143% increase in appointment bookings. And that's just from their Google business profile alone. That's a huge real-world impact. So what does a 143% jump actually mean for the bottom line? Well, for that clinic, it translated to 76 brand new patients, which was worth over $167,000 in revenue in the first year alone. And get this was all without spending a single dollar on paid ads. It was purely the result of being the most visible, relevant choice for local searchers. So you're probably thinking, okay, great, how do I actually do that? Well, it's not magic, it's just a method. So let's get into the real meat of this and break down your 5-step blueprint for getting found online. Here are the 5 pillars. First, you've got to optimize your Google business profile. Think of it as your digital front door. Second, build up your citations on important healthcare directories. Third, create specific web pages for each of your treatments and locations. Fourth, and this is a big one, you need a system for getting patient reviews. And fifth, develop content that really showcases your expertise. Now, when you're working on step 2, building the citations, this idea is absolutely critical. It's called NAP consistency. It stands for name, address, and phone number. Seriously, think of it like your clinic's digital fingerprint. If it's even a tiny bit different from one website to the next, like one says street and another says ST, it confuses Google and hurts your credibility. Everything has to be identical, everywhere. And for step 4, reviews, let's talk about a real target you can aim for. In those competitive markets like Sydney or Melbourne, you'll notice the top-ranking practices usually have somewhere between 40 and 80 Google reviews. But just as important is their average rating. It's almost always 4.6 stars or higher. So the key isn't just asking for reviews here and there, it's having a system to get them consistently. Okay, so knowing what to do is half the battle, right? But knowing what not to do can save you a ton of time, money, and frustration. So let's look at a few really common, simple mistakes that can quietly undo all your hard work and keep you invisible. Okay, this is a huge one I see all the time. Lumping all your services together on one page. Think about it. A patient searching for a skin cancer check is in a completely different frame of mind than someone searching for cosmetic injectables. You need to create separate pages and services that speak directly to each of those different needs. It makes things clearer for Google and way clearer for your patients. This next one might seem like a small detail, but believe me, it has a massive impact on trust. You have to avoid those generic stock photos. You know the ones. Patients can spot them from a mile away, and it just feels fake. Instead, invest in some professional, authentic photos of your actual clinic, your real team members, and your own equipment. Authenticity builds trust instantly. And finally, you have to understand where your patients are searching from. And I'll give you a hint, it's in their pocket. A staggering 75% of searches for skin issues happen on a mobile device. You know how it is. Someone sees a weird mole, they pull out their phone. If your website isn't fast and super easy to use on a phone, you're pretty much turning away 3/4 of your potential patients. Okay, so now you have the strategy and you know what pitfalls to steer clear of. The last piece of the puzzle is turning all this knowledge into action. So let's talk about what it actually takes to get this done, in terms of your time and your resources. It's really important to have realistic expectations here. This isn't an overnight fix. You're going to see your quickest results from optimizing your Google business profile, usually within about 6 to 10 weeks. That's when the phone might start ringing more often. But the deeper work, like creating all that great expert content, that takes a bit longer to really pay off. You're looking at more like 3 to 5 months to see that organic growth. And this all leads to a big strategic choice. Do you try to manage this yourself, in-house, or do you hire a specialist agency? Now, if you're in a smaller town with less competition and you have someone on staff who can dedicate, say, 8 to 12 hours a month and who really understands the AHPRA advertising rules, doing it in-house can work. But if you're in a competitive metro area, an agency with that specific medical SEO experience is almost always going to get you better results faster. Ultimately, it really all boils down to this one question. Your time and your expertise are incredibly valuable. Is that time better spent actually treating patients and providing world-class care? Or is it better spent trying to become a part-time digital marketer? The right answer is simply the one that lets you and your practice grow most effectively.